Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. Today I figured I'd talk to you guys a little bit about the NCLEX. So you new grad nurses that just graduated maybe a few months ago and are studying for the NCLEX right now, I hope this sheds some light for you guys. First things first, with any type of exam, you want to look into the exam, find out how many questions it is, what type of test it is, and what you need to do to pass. So what kind of test is the NCLEX? The NCLEX is a CAT exam, which means a computer adaptive test exam. So what this basically stands for is that every time you answer a question, whether you get it right or wrong, the computer then re-estimates your ability and provides you with another question. With the NCLEX specifically, you start at 0, and then there's a baseline of knowledge that they deem acceptable to become a registered nurse, and you could either go above or stay below that. So as you answer each question right, you get 1 point added till you reach that baseline level of knowledge. If you get 1 wrong, you go back down. 3 right, you go back up. If you get like 10 right, you're skyrocketed and you're doing a great job. So the goal is basically to get enough questions right for the computer to deem you acceptable to practice as a nurse. So that's why you can either pass in 75 questions or also pass in 250 questions. So at the 75 question mark, the computer then determines your ability based off a 95% confidence interval. What this means is that at 75 questions, if the computer is 95% confident that you're at or above the passing level, then it will shut off and you have passed. However, at 75 questions, if you are not at or above the passing level, if you've gotten so many questions wrong where it's impossible to redeem yourself back up to that passing level, it will shut off and you have failed. So those people who have gotten a passing grade in 75 questions, they knew a good amount for the exam not to question any longer. If you took 100 questions, 200 questions, 250 questions, it's not that you didn't know enough, it's just that the computer wasn't 95% sure that you were at the passing standard. So we all want to pass with 75 questions, so what do you do? Okay, when should you start studying? I started studying 3 months before I graduated nursing school, and I think that is the general rule of thumb for most people, because at that time you're basically done with most of your nursing classes and it's just test prep anyways. So 3 months before you graduate, start hitting the books. The next question is, what do I use to study? So I'm sure many of you have been searching and have heard of a program called UWorld. I know the competitor to UWorld would be Kaplan. I used UWorld entirely, and this is not an ad, this is not a promotion, I get nothing out of this, but I do believe that UWorld is a very, very good study tool and program for NCLEX prep. The first reason why I do love it is because it's an app, so you can get it on your phone, tablet, computer, which is easy access to study at any time. The second reason why I love it is because it looks exactly like the NCLEX exam, and psychology always says that things that look familiar take the stress away. So when you're sitting down for the exam and it looks exactly like the app that you've been using for 3 months, that's gonna cut off a lot of your stress, which will make you more focused and more able to recall all that information that you studied for 3 months and the 4 years of nursing school. Another reason why I love the app so much is that it gives you really good rationales, it gives you graphs, it gives you pictures, and the questions are so similar to the actual NCLEX that you'd be foolish to not get it and not use it as a study tool. I did use one other textbook. It was NCLEX RN textbook, which I used it on topics that I was consistently getting wrong and couldn't understand fully with just the rationales UWorld gave me, which was rare, but it still happened. So I would go into that book and find the issue that I was having, look it up, take my index cards, and then write down whatever the problem was. So say if it was thyroid storm, I would take it and say thyroid storm, and then on the back I'd write signs and symptoms, what it is, and like how it affects the body, and what is the treatment. So that's what I would use that extra book for. Other than that, it was solely UWorld, to be honest. Another study tip for answering NCLEX questions is to Remember that you're staffed at a Utopia hospital. So the hospital has all the supplies that it needs. The hospital is fully staffed. There will never be a what if I don't have this much stuff, or what if I can't reach a phone to call a doctor. There's none of that. You live in a perfect bubble world, which is unlike the real world, but you live in a perfect world where you have everything you could possibly need to solve a problem. So that's another quick tip for you guys that are taking the NCLEX and studying right now. The next thing you might be asking yourself is now your study plan. I'm 3 months out. I know that I should start studying, but how much should I be studying? And when do I change those study habits? So you're 3 months out. You should be studying 3 to 4 times a week, maybe 1 to 3 hours a day. I did about 20 to 50 questions 3 to 4 times a week. And then when I'm 2 months away, I would do the same thing, but up the questions. So that second month of studying UWorld, still do 3 to 4 times a week, but 75 questions those days. And then just keep studying as much as you can whenever you have time for those 3 months. So now you've graduated, what do you do? So personally, once I graduated, I scheduled my NCLEX 2 weeks after. I was very nervous and thought, oh my God, maybe it's not enough time. But at the end of the day, I knew that I could buckle down and study. So what I did, if you want to take the test as quick as possible after you graduate, you can pass in 2 weeks. So I studied every single day for 2 weeks. Did I study 12 hours a day? No. I studied about 6 to 8 hours a day for 2 weeks. Now, I know that may be a lot for some of you, but if you want to take the route that I did, definitely do it. If you did give yourself a month to study, that's fine as well. You should be studying at least 5 times a week at that point anyways. So in that 2 weeks that I studied every day, I just did UWorld questions. I was doing about 200 questions a day and then reviewing each one. So once you take a question, you have either the answer pop up right in front of you with the rationale, or you take all the questions and then it tells you what you got wrong and right, and you could go back. So in the beginning, I was taking one question at a time and reading the rationales. When I had that 2 week mark, I did start doing some rationale questions, like maybe 100 with the rationales. And then I would take like exams. I would do 150 questions with no rationales, and I'd wait to the end and go over all those rationales. Because with the NCLEX and all nursing school exams, you'll come to realize that every statement is somewhat true, except for one part of the statement that is false. So you need to start looking at the options A, B, C, D, E, F, how many options there are, as true or false statements. And it's like the first half of the question could be right, but the second half it isn't. So you need to use process of elimination and like true or false statements in your head to get through those questions. Just another helpful hint. So just to quickly recap, you want to start studying for that NCLEX 3 months away from graduation and start increasing that frequency of studying until your graduation point. Once you graduate, get on the computer and schedule your test date, because those test dates fill very quickly, and dive headfirst into studying. I feel like the reason that I passed in those 2 weeks post-graduation is because I started studying 3 months before graduation. Very little, but you know, you increase that frequency gradually, and then once you graduate, it won't be, oh, now I need to study for 3 months. You want to get that stuff done. And I also am a very firm believer that you should take it as soon as possible, because the information is fresh in your mind from school. The longer you're out of school, the harder it is to recall that information. So my advice to you, take it as soon as you can. If you guys have any other questions, please feel free to comment and let me know. Subscribe for more nursing videos and more travel vlogs. Start anesthesia school in September. I'm just starting to get all my stuff together, ordering textbooks and all that stuff. I can't wait to inform you guys more about the program and what it's like. And hopefully, some of you may follow me into the anesthesia field. Can't wait to intubate. All right, guys, I'll see you later.